Hey there Retro Games fans, this is Andy C from Pieces of 8-Bit. Welcome to this week's video. Going to look at something a little bit different this week. For those of you who watch my channel, you'll know that I'm doing a month with the Mega Drive at the moment. So I've got the Mega Drive sitting in the living room, playing lots of games on it. Obviously last week we looked at Sonic, the week before we looked at some of the what I consider to be the greatest racing icons of the 16-bit era. This week is the last week before we actually go back and review what the month has been like. So I thought I would take a look at this little thing here. This is the Sega Mega Drive Mini, or the Genesis Mini if you happen to live in North America. And the reason I wanted to have a look at this is because I'm quite a big fan of these sort of reimagined modern consoles. So being as we're looking at the Mega Drive this month, I thought I'd have a look at this. When I do some of the other consoles, I will also have a look at their mini versions if they exist. I have a mini Commodore 64, got a mini Amiga 500, I've got a PlayStation, and I've got a NES as well. The only one I don't have is the SNES actually, which I would quite like to get. But we're looking at Mega Drive this month, so we're having a look at this one. There are two versions of this. This is the first variant, obviously, as you can tell. The first variant looks like a little version of the Mega Drive 1. There is also a Mega Drive 2 Mini, which is, unsurprisingly, looks a lot like the Mega Drive 2, and both of these come with a different set of games. So what we'll do is we'll dive in, I'll hook it up, and I'll record, and I'll just sort of talk you through some of the games that are on here. And then also, one of the other things I wanted to do was to talk to you about how you can use this as a little portable gaming console. And get it hooked up, use your iPad as a screen, and yeah, basically get it hooked up and take it with you when you go on your holidays if you really miss it. Now, there are a million different ways of taking retro games with you when you travel, but this is one that I thought was quite fun. Probably not all that useful, but quite fun anyway. So stick with me and I will talk you through that. But without any further ado, let's have a quick look at the Mega Drive Mini, and I will talk you through a little bit about the device itself, where you can find one if you want one, because he's been out quite a long time now. This is about 6 years old. Yeah, what sort of games we expect to see. So yeah, let's dive straight in and have a look at the functionality. Okay, right, here we go. So this is the Sega Mega Drive Mini. So when you when you plug the machine in, and obviously the nice thing about these modern consoles is they plug in via HDMI, so none of that worrying about converting analog to digital. You are immediately presented with this nice friendly menu of things that you can play. Now on the Sega Mega Drive Mini 1, I think we've got somewhere in the region of about 42 titles in here. So there's some real classics. We'll talk through those in just a second. But what I will do is I will just tell you a little bit about the console itself, and I'll tell you a little bit about the sequel, the Mega Drive Mini 2 as well, and that'll help you to decide which one you might want to get. So first of all, this is obviously the one. This is the first generation one. This came out in 2019. So as I mentioned before, it's been a while. Generally, I think now you'll struggle to find a new box one anywhere. I don't know if I doubt they even make this anymore. I'm pretty sure that they don't. But you can pick them up off eBay, and the price of these is not actually too bad. I paid about £45 for this. I have seen them go for a bit more than that, especially if you want a boxed one. They go for a little bit more. Yeah, it was all working. It was very nicely packaged up by the seller. If you want to buy a Sega Mega Drive Mini 2, you will end up paying quite a lot more for them. They still seem to sell them on Amazon, but the price I was seeing on Amazon was in the region of about £300. So maybe they're just rare now, and that's why you'll pay over £100 for them if you find them on eBay, more than likely, unless you're lucky enough to find a deal. The Sega Mega Drive Mini 2 comes with a completely different set of games, but it comes with a lot more games. It comes with 53 titles, plus 7 that were never actually released. So you're getting a lot more on there. And it also has a much larger memory, flash storage on it, so that you can play Sega CD games as well. So that's pretty cool. It supports the Sega CD. There are a bunch of accessories you could buy for these. You could buy like a little sort of Sega or Mega CD attachment. You could buy little sort of pretend cartridges that go in the top. It doesn't take cartridges, I might add. So the games you've got on here are the games that you're going to be playing. Yeah, and that's probably about it really. In terms of the controllers, the Sega Mega Drive Mini 1 comes with 2 USB controllers, the standard 3-button ones. I think you get the 6-button ones if you're buying a Japanese version of this. One of the things I really love about these little mini consoles as well is that they come with these USB controllers, which you can use on any device that will take a USB controller. So if you're playing on an emulator through a Raspberry Pi or on your computer, the great thing is that these little controllers will work with everything. They're the authentic deal. And so you have the mini, quite often I quite like buying the mini consoles just to get the controllers, because you're getting the proper, nice, good quality, authentic controllers. Yes, you can buy cheaper ones, but these feel like the real deal. And they're USB, so they will just work. So I've got some NES ones, I've got obviously some Sony ones, I've now got these Mega Drive ones as well. So it is a really good reason to buy them, if nothing else. You know, £40, and then you're getting 2 really good little Sega controllers as well, and also you've got all these games to play on top. So that is all that. In terms of power, it's just standard USB, and that's important for the thing I mentioned at the beginning about taking this with you. So yeah, we'll come back to that, but standard USB, so 5 volts, USB micro, so very, very standard, easy to plug in, and as I mentioned before, HDMI to the television. So let's have a look through the games here then. So there are some absolutely die-hard classics on here. So obviously we've got our Sonics 1, 2 and Sonic Spinball. I think the Mega Drive Mini 2 comes with 3D Blast, and I'm not sure if it came with Sonic and Knuckles. That one, maybe Sonic and Knuckles was on that one. Don't quote me on that. I didn't check. I can't look because I don't own the Mini 2. But yeah, so that also came with a version of Outrun as well. This doesn't have an Outrun on it. I think if you have the Asia version of this, you get Outrun 2019, which is again I'm not a massive fan of. But let's have a look at some of the games that we're seeing in here. So we mentioned the Sonics. We've got Shinobi 3, amazing game. Altered Beast, absolute classic. Golden Axe, Streets of Rage. 2, Street Fighter 2, and that's a Special Champion Edition. I also have that on the actual Mega Drive, actually, that version. That's a really good version. Toe Jam Earl. What else we got here? Virtua Fighter 2. Absolutely fantastic fighters. You've got 2 real classic fighters there, Virtua Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2. Echo the Dolphin, which is a real Marmite game. People either love it or they hate it. I've got a lovely copy of Echo for the Mega Drive. But yeah, not a game that I massively love. I find it quite frustrating to play, actually, as it happens. What else do we have down here? Oh, Road Rash 2. What an amazing game that is. Fantastic, fantastic game. Columns, again, amazing game. And Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which I did consider including in my Sonic review, actually, but I decided against it 'cause it's not a proper Sonic game. But that's not a game I've actually played before, so maybe that's one I'll do for my bit between in the middle of the week one time. I'm actually going to have a look at that. So that's the game selection, so it's pretty good. You know, not everything on here. Oh, we didn't actually go to the top here, did we? We didn't even mention Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, which is an Alex Kidd game I've not played. Earthworm Jim and Castle of Illusion, another really good game. I like the Master System version of that, actually. Mickey Mouse's Castle of Illusion. I think it's Castle of Illusion on the Master System. Notes in the comments below, I might be wrong. So there you go, that is the Mega Drive Mini choice of games. Let's just load one up here just so you can see. Nice and easy to load. The little background that we've got there is configurable. There isn't a great deal to configure, to be honest with you. You can change the sort of screen style that you've got, and that's kind of it, really. I mean, there is really just plug and play. There's very little that you need to do to get it up and running. It's very, very easy indeed. Here we go. Seen a lot of this little fella just lately. I thought I'd started the game then. I was just in demo mode. Here we go. Right. We're not going to do a playthrough of Sonic. If you want to have a look at some playthroughs of Sonic, please go and check out my video from last week, where we looked at all of the Sonics on the 16-bit system, all 6, Sonic 1, 2, 3, Knuckles, Spinball, and 3D Blast, or Flicky's Island, for those of us in the European region. So there we go. That is the gameplay, and as you can see, I'm just playing this now. It is, you know, it feels like the real thing. It feels like a real controller. It's nice and smooth. It looks really good. Colours are good. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. Sonic's absolutely fantastic, of course. So yeah, so that's a little bit of the gameplay. So there you go. I think from a game point of view, if there's games in there that you like the look of and you fancy getting yourself some controllers and some other bits and pieces as well, some of the accessories, I haven't seen those around. I honestly think that the Sega Mega Drive Mini, if you're looking to get back into playing Sega Mega Drive games, Sega Genesis games, is a really good shout. So let's go back. I promised to tell you a little bit about some tips and tricks for getting this up onto your iPad, actually, and also I'll talk to you a little bit more about the device itself and the design, and then we'll wrap it up there for the day. I'll see you on the other side. Cool, I hope you found that useful. I could definitely recommend going and getting one of these. I mean, there's lots of ways of getting back into playing Mega Drive gaming, and I will talk to you more about that next week when we do the review on the month with. And as you know, for those of you who watch my channel, you will know that I do go through that a little bit and talk about ways of getting back into Mega Drive gaming. Of course, this is one of them, and I will probably mention it again next week. Behind me on the screen here is the Switch. You probably can't see that. I'll just move my head out of the way. That is currently playing the Mega Drive emulator on there as well, so that's another route. But we will talk more about that at another time. But if you're looking to get into it nice and easily, no faff with emulators, the Sega Mega Drive Mini is a really fun little thing to get. So let's just have actually, what we didn't do at the start was have a look at the design of the device in a little bit more detail. So you can see here, we've got, I'll try and not get the reflection on there. Looks like the real thing. It's about a quarter of the size. The only switch that actually does anything is the little on-off switch down there. I don't think the reset actually does anything, nor does the volume control, of course, because the original Mega Drive actually had an audio jack, 3.5mm jack on the front. So that's what that was what that was for. Nice thing, of course, a little unknown thing. The difference between the Mega Drive 1 and the 2 was actually the sound was largely considered to be better on the 1, largely due to the fact that it would actually play out in stereo, whereas the Mega Drive 2 actually didn't, which was quite interesting, but not a big deal. We're not here to talk about that. So yes, I love the little design of this. It really does look authentic, and if you get the Mega Drive 2 version, the Mini, that again looks very, very similar to the Mega Drive 2. I love the attention to detail on these modern devices. I think they look really, really fabulous. So that's really cool. And then the controller, I mean, that needs no. This is just a standard, obviously it doesn't make any sense to have a small controller. Standard size controller with the classic three buttons. It's a really nice feel. I love the Mega Drive controller anyway. I think it's a great controller. But it's got a really good feel to it, really quality. And of course, the great thing is, as I mentioned before, it is USB. So it is really handy from the point of view of being able to just plug that into your computer and playing, or like I said earlier, into your Raspberry Pi. If you've got a Raspberry Pi, anything else like that that will take USB controller, that will just work with it. What I'm going to do now, just a little bonus part of the video, and this is perhaps maybe a little bit silly, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how you could potentially travel with your Sega Mega Drive Mini, or in fact any of your mini consoles, and get them up on your iPad. Now I generally think if you're going to be traveling and you want to take a gaming device with you, there are lots of options. So you've got things like, you'll see me on the channel talk about it before, things like the ROG Ally X. Obviously that's a very expensive way of doing it. You can have emulators and play all sorts of games on there, PC games, whatever. You've got the option of actually going and finding a little, an old Game Boy or a DS or a Vita or any of those, actual mini consoles. So that's another option as well, of course, if you're traveling. But I thought this was quite a fun little way of thinking about it. It's a useful tip anyway. If you want to, if you're sitting in the living room and somebody's got the TV on and they're watching something and you really want to kind of have a go on your little console, this will help you with that as well. So on my iPad, so I'll just grab my iPad here. First thing you'll need to do is you'll need to get yourself an app. So I don't know if this is something that you can do on Android. I don't have an Android tablet, unfortunately, so I can't show you. So what we need to do is we need to find ourselves an app called Orion. So I've got it here. This is Orion. When I think you pay a small price for it. I can't remember what it was. It might have been a few pounds. It isn't a free thing, but it's not very expensive. And obviously, once you've got it, you own it. And it comes up with this screen here, making it look like a sort of an old. It's like the screen you used to get on an old video recorder, wasn't it? An old VCR. Then what we're going to need is we are going to need one little device, a relatively inexpensive device, and this is something that I actually use for doing my video recording if I'm plugging a device into my computer, and that's just it's called a video capture card. This is not an expensive video capture card. You can spend a lot of money on these things. This was, I think, about £15. It wasn't very expensive at all. You can find them on Amazon. If you do a video capture card, look for a video capture card or a dongle like that. You'll find it. It's got USB-C on the one end and HDMI out on the other. So we're going to plug that into our iPad. So we're going to go. That's plugged in there. So now we've got and you can see actually now it's powered this, and so actually that's why the screen's gone black, because it's now waiting for an input. This has got the input. This is now waiting for a signal input as well. Now we can take our Sega Mega Drive Mini, and we are going to plug in the HDMI in the back. What I will do, actually, so you can see better, is I will just move this over to here. All right, apologies for turning my back on you. I'm sure there's some rule which says you shouldn't do that. Right, so we standard HDMI. Plug our HDMI into our video capture card, like so. Now we need to power our device. So what I have here is, I mean, obviously USB is easy to find. So you know, this is just a standard USB connector, and then the USB micro in the back. So plug that into here. Okay, so obviously we could just plug this into our USB slot. If you're traveling, there's USB ports and slots all over the place. I'm going to use this. This is an Anker power bank that I bought a little while ago. These are fantastic actually. They hold a lot of power. You can charge your phone off them several times. I always travel with this. This is fantastic to travel with. You can charge a couple of things on it. It's got a little sort of USB-C plugged in all the time, which acts as a handle, which is great. I'm not going to do a sales thing for Anker, so go check it out yourself if you're interested. But this will deliver enough power to power our Sega Mega Drive Mini. So I'm going to plug that into there. So that's that. Our Mega Drive Mini now, as you can see, is, we just on the camera there, you just make that out. That is now powered. And you should, any second now, we should see, there we go, there we are. So we are now powered. We are now powered without being plugged into anything physical in the wall, any plugs or anything else like that. So we're powered by our power bank, we've got our little device, and we're plugged into our iPad there. So if I grab one of my controllers and plug this in as well, there we go, and I can now, there we go, and there we go. So I think the point here is, you know, do you really want to be traveling with your device there? And I think what it'd be quite useful for is if you're going away somewhere for a week and you just wanted to take something with you to play in an evening, then it's a really good little thing to take with you. And the reason I say that is because they're such small devices. I'm just going to turn that off now. Because they're such small devices, you know, you're already going to be taking your iPads with you, most likely. You know, a lot of people just travel with their iPads anyway. You may well be traveling with your power brick already anyway. This is so small and you know, weighs virtually nothing that all you need to do is have this and one of the controllers, and then you've got a console that you can take with you and play with you. So a little bit silly, I admit, but the idea of using the video capture card to get things onto your iPad as well does mean that you can just use it as a little screen anywhere. You know, if you want to just sit in the kitchen and play when the TV's being used in the living room or whatever, you can absolutely do that. So hopefully that was useful. Bit of a silly thing, but yeah, that was it really. So would I recommend getting one of these minis? I think you probably already know the answer to that question. Absolutely, they're great and they're not that expensive. I think the advantage of picking the one up obviously is it's a lot cheaper. The two will have that those Sega CD, Mega CD games as well, which is really, really cool. The game selection on there is good, and it has a proper version of Outrun on there. Doesn't have the Sonics, so kind of if you want all of them, you kind of got to get both really. But yeah, it's a great little device, and I love these little mini devices. I think they're fantastic, and they really do help to bring back the love of those old sort of 16-bit consoles and some of the 8-bit consoles and whatever as well, and some of the old computers, of course, as well. So there we go. That is the Sega Mega Drive Mini. Go check it out if you can find one. Like I say, even these are getting a bit old now. But yeah, if you can find one and you're interested, I would definitely recommend having a look. Okay, so now next, a few little things, announcements on the channel. First and foremost, you'll probably notice that I've been doing a few updates and my thumbnails have changed a little bit, yeah, I've just sort of been updating a few bits and pieces here. You'll notice as well, some of you may notice, you may think I've sold out. I promise you I haven't. There is now some merchandise that you can get from Spreadsheet Shop, which appears at the bottom of each of the videos. Now, the reason I've done that is not because I'm expecting to make millions of pounds from merchandising the logo of the channel, but every time I go out to a show, every time I do a road trip, people always ask me about my t-shirt. So people seem to like the logo, they're always guessing about what it is, and they always go, oh, that's a really cool t-shirt. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put some, I had a couple made for myself anyway, and so I thought, you know what, I'll make a small selection of products. There's not millions on there. There's put a couple of hoodies, there's a couple of t-shirts, a mug and some stickers, that's it. So if you fancy going and getting those, honestly, I'm not asking you to do it from a support perspective. They're just there because people keep asking me about it. If somebody asks me about it, I'll go check out my channel. If you want to buy one, go get yourself one. I don't get a lot of money for it. So that's been going on. Obviously, we've got the Sega Mega Drive review coming up very, very shortly. So I'll keep you informed on that. That'll be next week's video, and I will also be revealing what's going to be coming up for next month. And you'll have also noticed I've got a couple of new features on the channel now. So on a midweek, I think it's on Wednesday, I'll do it now. I've got a new feature called The Bit Between, and the idea of that is that's literally just me diving into a game. Sometimes they're games that I've never played before that have been suggested to me or I've been interested in having a look at. I will just play them. If it's the first time I've played them, it'll be the first time I've played it, and so it'll be a case of who knows what. And I'll try and keep those videos to about 10 minutes. Certainly the gameplay element of that as well. And I am also toying with the idea of doing some shorts. I've got loads of gameplay footage that I've made for the channel over the last sort of 18 months or so. And therefore, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do a few little shorts as well. People quite enjoy just having a little flavour of some of those old classic games, so keep an eye open for those. They'll appear on TikTok and they'll also be on YouTube Shorts as well. That's enough rambling from me. We've got the next lap time challenge coming up as well, so keep an eye open for that. That is going to be Tokka 2, so I'm quite looking forward to that. It was a catastrophe last time. See what I did there. Yeah, so that is also coming up in terms of gameplay, so keep an eye open for that as well. So loads and loads of things coming up, all sorts of things to do, not enough time to do it. So I'm going to crack on now and start getting some videos made and some editing done, and yeah, maybe find some time for the rest of my life, maybe. So look, please do all take care of yourselves. If you enjoy these videos, you know what I'm going to say. Please do hit that like and subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. Other than that, I'll see you around. Bye for now.